The Galactic Senate chamber buzzed with laughter and disdain as the holographic projection of Earth's ambassador, Commander Aelin Aviras, flickered in the center. Her plea for diplomatic solutions to escalating tensions was met with universal derision. Humans, scoffed an Eridani delegate, afraid of war, so they hide behind words. Elena's jaw tightened. The disdain was palpable, but she maintained her composure. Unbeknownst to the Senate, a shadowy plan had already been set in motion back on Earth. Humanity wasn't hiding, it was preparing. Back on the Icarus Ascendant, Earth's top stealth battleship, Captain Darius Kane and his elite crew were on high alert. Elena's speech was a diversion. The real mission: infiltrate the capital planet of Zathalon and disable the Galactic Empire's communications grid, leaving their fleets blind. The operation began smoothly, the Icarus cloaking its presence. As they approached Zathalon's orbital defenses, a sudden ripple of energy washed over the ship. Systems flicker. The cloaking field dropped. What the hell just hit us? Barked Kane, scanning the flickering controls. It's a detection web, replied Zara, the ship's tactical officer. They knew we were coming. Before Kane could issue a command, alarm screamed. A swarm of enemy drones emerged from the planet's surface, surrounding the Icarus. The crew scrambled to man battle stations, but the odds were overwhelming. Captain, they're locking weapons, Zara warned. Brace for impact, Kane shouted as the first salvo hit, rocking the ship violently. Despite their training, the crew exchanged nervous glances. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and far from reinforcements. Yet, retreat wasn't an option. Failure meant Earth's annihilation. As the Icarus fought to regain control, Kane received a private message from Earth Command. Complete the mission at all costs. No extraction. Humanity depends on you. The section ended with the ship surrounded, enemy weapons charging, and Kane staring at the flickering hologram of Earth, a reminder of what was at stake. The Icarus weaved through an onslaught of laser fire, barely staying intact. Kane's voice boomed over the intercom, rallying his crew. We don't run, we don't surrender, we adapt. Find me a way through. Zara analyzed the enemy's attack patterns, her fingers flying over the console. Their drones are controlled by a central node. If we destroy it, we might disrupt the entire fleet. But it's buried deep in their planetary defenses, Engineering Chief Leela Chen interjected. We'd have to fly directly into their firepower. We don't have a choice, Kane said grimly. Zara, plot a course. As the ship dove towards Zathalon, the enemy's fire intensified. Shields buckled, hull integrity dropped to critical levels, but the crew fought on, improvising with every new challenge. In the chaos, Zara discovered a vulnerability in the detection web. Using the ship's advanced AI, she created a false signature, a ghost fleet of human ships appearing on Zathalon's sensors. The Empire panicked, diverting resources to intercept the Phantom threat. That bought us time, Kane said. But not enough. The Icarus reached the central node, battered but operational. Just as Zara prepared to fire, a new threat emerged, a colossal warship, the Zarathion Prime, armed with weapons beyond anything humanity had encountered. We're out of time, Zara shouted. With the enemy warship locking on, Kane faced an impossible decision: risk everything to destroy the node, or retreat and lose Earth. He chose the former, ordering Zara to fight. The scene ended as the Icarus unleashed its payload, the screen filled with blinding light. The explosion severed the drone fleet's control network, causing chaos among the enemy forces. For a moment, hope flickered aboard the Icarus, but it was short-lived. The Zarathion Prime emerged unscathed, its captain demanding surrender. Kane refused. If we go down fighting. As the Zarathion Prime powered up its main cannon, Leela proposed a desperate plan: overload the Icarus's experimental warp drive to create a temporary rift in spacetime. It could destroy the enemy warship or consume the Icarus along with it. It's suicide, Zara said. We'll never survive. We're already dead if we don't, Kane replied. Prepare the drive. The crew worked frantically, knowing each second brought them closer to destruction. As the warp drive hummed to life, Kane transmitted a final message to Earth. Mission proceeding. Tell them ... we fought. The Zarathion Prime unleashed its cannon, but before the beam could strike, the Icarus activated the warp drive. The resulting rift swallowed the cannon fire, and the enemy ship in a swirling vortex of energy. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, the Icarus hovered on the edge of the rift. Then it stabilized, drifting in the silence of space. The crew erupted into cheers, but their victory was short-lived. The rift had destabilized local spacetime, and a new anomaly appeared. An enormous alien structure emerging from the void, something ancient, alive, and hostile. The alien structure loomed, emitting a pulse that disabled what little remained of the Icarus's systems. Kane realized the rift hadn't just destroyed the Zerathion primate, had awakened something far older and more dangerous. "This isn't over," he said, staring at the monstrosity. As the alien entity launched tendrils toward the ship, Zara and Leela scrambled for solutions. They discovered the structure was a dormant weapon from a forgotten war, reactivated by the rift. Its target wasn't just the Icarus, it was Earth. "We have to stop it," Kane said, "at all costs." Using the last of their power, the crew devised a daring plan to lure the entity back into the rift. It required someone to manually pilot the ship while the crew evacuated. Kane volunteered. "Earth needs you more than it needs me," he told Zara, handing over command. The crew evacuated in escape pods as Kane piloted the Icarus into the heart of the anomaly. The ship's AI, once cold and calculating, spoke its first and last words. "Goodbye, Captain." As the rift consumed the Icarus and the alien entity, the crew watched from afar, their hearts heavy with loss. But Earth was safe for now. The story ended with Zara looking at a flickering hologram of Kane, vowing to honor his sacrifice. In the distance, faint readings suggested that the rift hadn't closed entirely, leaving the audience wondering, what else lies beyond?